Welcome. In front of me is a Samsung Galaxy S26 Plus, and today I'll be going over unboxing of this device, quick look at it, which also is mixed with first impression, spec sheet, checkout, and as well I'll look at the build quality and give you my general opinions about the device, price, and so on. Now, I do want to mention I am in no way sponsored by anyone, so I can say whatever I want about this phone, which unlike other YouTubers that basically need to grovel on their knees with Samsung so they can get their free samples before they get released, so so they can have the content early out, I clearly don't, and I couldn't give two shits less. So I can say whatever I want and know that I will never be sponsored by them, and that's okay. So let's get to this. And here we got the phone in this nice blue color. We also got paperwork in here, charging cable, and that's it. Now what is missing in here in this box is a charger. Now I am still one of those people that would that do not accept the fact that phone that needs to be charged doesn't come with what needs to be provided for it to actually function to its fullest potential. So you get to use this device for about 2 days max, and then it dies. Great. What a fantastic experience. And hey, the excuse that we're saving the planet kind of falls apart if you consider the fact that, well, they're still kind of, for instance, I presume selling printers with CDs in them. Well, this CDs are made out of plastic as far as I can tell, so hey, guess you're saving the planet super well. Now, to be fair, that's probably not the best thing, considering Samsung did sell off their printer division to HP in 2017 by what I've learned, but I'm pretty sure they sell something else that has some moronic decision like this, so it doesn't really matter. It is, after all, as we all know, just a profit kind of decision, as they're still selling those chargers outside of the box for extra cost. So they're not actually saving the environment right here, because they're still making the damn chargers. They're just forcing you to buy it separately. So anyway, now I'm not going to be setting up this piece of shit right here because it requires me to connect to network and then go through the annoying setup and all that stuff and a reboot. So a phone that requires me to do something throughout the setup kind of defeats the purpose of a setup, because that's supposed to be my decision if I want to do this or not. But a phone that literally forces me to connect to network while I'm going to the setup can go screw itself. Anyway, moving on. Let's take a look at actually the display first. Let's flip it back here. So screen size right here is a 6.7 inches with a resolution of 1440 by 3120 pixels, dynamic LTPO AMOLED display, 120 Hz refresh rate, HDR10 Plus certified, and a peak brightness of 2600 nits. It also boasts 90.7% screen-to-body ratio with very minimal bezels all around, and a hole-punch camera, unfortunately, and 516 pixels per inch covered with a corner Gorilla Glass Victus 2. That is also the same kind of glass you get at the back, as this is glass. So, display right here is good. Brightness-wise, it's actually kind of on the lower end from what I would have expected here, and refresh rate is what you expect from a phone like this. One more thing that you don't get right here is the privacy glass. So that's only available to you on the Ultra model and not the this one, because God forbid you get the S26 feature on all the S26. No, that only comes with one. It makes it super nice to kind of try to, figure out the 5G chess that Samsung is playing and figure out which phone has what features, because they don't have all the same. For instance, I don't know how these ones are, but for instance, the 25 lineup, the S25, the small one, was the shittiest one of them all, with the slowest charging and everything just kind of shit. It was equivalent to an FE phone compared to the Plus or the even Ultra. And one of those things that, for instance, the S25 was lacking was near-field communication for, actually no, not that, was the other thing. That basically allows the AirTags to be accurate and work correctly and do other things, right? Yeah, that S25 doesn't have that, but the Plus and the Ultra did. So I just generally despise the Samsung logic that, you know, they're releasing something that is called S26 here, and it's all the S26, and as previously logic would dictate, the Plus is just a bigger version of the same phone, but it's not. Because other than just being bigger and having bigger battery, it has faster charging and improved cameras? No, never mind. The cameras are still the same garbage. Okay, cool. That's even odd. Wow. But anyway, so other than that, the charging speed of this device is improved, which it actually joins, you know, modern standards, though not like high standards, considering this is a flagship. This is still pathetic at 45 watts. But hey, comparing it to the S26, this one right here, this one does 25 watts, like it's 2010. So, anyway, let's move on to the cameras right here. So, on paper, we have 50 megapixel 1.8 aperture 24mm wide lens, 10 megapixel 2.4 67mm telephoto, and 12 megapixel 2.2 13mm 120-degree ultra wide, with 8K at 30 frames, 4K up to 60, and slow motion at 1080p to 240 frames with 10-bit HDR and HDR10 Plus, and so on. Now at the front we got a 12 megapixel 2.2 aperture 26mm wide lens that does 4K 60. Now on paper, these cameras are identical to what the S26 offers. So that's, I guess, good. I kind of want to check one thing, because I remember that there was a difference in cameras, I think, between the S25 and the Plus. S25, this and this. Let's quickly check. So oh no, okay, so they also had the same exact cameras before. Okay. And that actually being said, on paper again, these cameras also have the same kind of specs as the S25 and S25 Plus. Which kind of begs the question, what the hell do you get here? You also don't get a Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, unlike what the GSM Arena claims you do. That's wrong. Though, if you're in US, you might be getting that, but I'm in Europe, so I get completely, you know, taken raw right here without this processor. I get to pay the same amount, but I get a shittier processor, being the Exynos 2600. Yay, thank you, Samsung. How about you go screw US instead of Europe? Just a crazy idea, for once. So I automatically am negatively set for this, as Exynos historically has never been better than Snapdragon, and I just generally hate when there are so many differences between the devices and also between regions, because if you're getting a Snapdragon US, why the hell am I getting an Exynos in here? So that's one. So I am generally negatively set for Samsung release like this. The S lineups, as primarily all they care about is the Ultra lineup, and obviously that will show, as the Ultra is actually the better choice of all of these lineups. If you want a small phone, you can get a different phone from a different brand that offers better specifications than the, for instance, S26. If you want a good phone that is reasonably sized, like this one, 6.7, again, you have a different option that is also fantastic, that costs less. If you want a great kind of all-arounder phone, then the Ultra might be actually a good option. But the Plus and the non-Plus are not that. So, anyway, let's continue on, because it kind of it doesn't really get any better here. So, we got a 4.9K milliamp hour battery. So, it's below 5,000 on a 6.7-inch display. Now, to put that in perspective, a phone with this size, actually, shit, let's not even go this high. Let's take a look at alternative, this phone. So, a phone with a 6.59 inches display can have 6,210 milliamp hour battery. This, on the other hand side, has 4,900. Just a, you know, a small decrease. And on top of that, that device with over 6,000 milliamps can charge at 100 watts. This can charge at 45. Now, that's already great, and it's just baffling to me how Samsung again released the basically same phone with again the same shitty battery in their devices, and has the audacity to charge you $1,000 or like almost $1,100 for this. Now, the reason why I'm kind of being negative about the battery, I don't give two shits what the logic here is for Samsung to include this battery or any other company. Right now, the rage is for silicon carbon batteries. Reason for that is it's to basically allow you to have a bigger battery cell in here while having the same kind of sized footprint of that battery. So, 1 cubic meter of a battery would be 1 cubic meter, but you get more charge in it. So that's the silicon carbon. Size is the same, but milliamps are bigger, meaning that your phone can hold a charge for longer. But Samsung, well, number one, has problems with their devices not blowing up the battery. So, probably they put silicon carbon, or we might get a note repeat. But in general, I did see some, I would call this bogus from MKHB or whatever, however the acronym goes, that they did have behind the closed doors conversations on why some of the companies don't include silicon carbon, and it's, the implementation, and they don't know how stable it is and all that crap. Well, China has been including it on their phones, and unlike Samsung, I haven't been seeing any kind of headlines that their phones are blowing up. So yeah, I would like to see that one on a Samsung, especially at this price tag. I don't give really any kind of craps about what the reasoning here is. If you can't figure it out, that's not really my problem, and it shouldn't be then charging. You shouldn't be charging this amount for a phone that still uses the lithium ion batteries or whatever the hell they are, instead of the silicon carbon. With that battery, obviously you would have been able to have a close to probably 6,000 milliamp hour battery, which would actually make the battery life here pretty damn good. But alas, that's not what we got. Anyway, moving on into the storages, we have 256 or half a terabyte of storage with 12 gigabytes of RAM, with no expandable storage. I mean, they didn't expand their box to include a charger, so they're definitely not going to be expanding their phone to include a SD card when you can spend more than double for what this storage would be equivalent to in the store. So, anyway, anything else that I want to talk about? Build quality wise, we have aluminum frame, glass, Gorilla Glass Victus 2, back, front, no pre-applied screen protector, no included case in the box, and anything of additional value to the device that most other companies nowadays include. Okay, so with that complete kind of teardown of this device, verbal one, very negatively said teardown, let's call it this way. The consensus here for me is that there are better options out there, that if you're willing to sacrifice the One UI, if this is something that is important to you, obviously you don't really have much of an option. Samsung is the only one that is using One UI, but if you don't care about this, then you can look into other alternatives. Obviously, if you don't care about their ecosystem of One UI and Samsung things, you don't really need to go for this device. You can obviously go for the Ultra if that is something that is in your budget, or if you are willing to, you can look at something like the Poco from Xiaomi, and specifically the Poco F8 Ultra. It's going to be a tiny bit bigger device, which offers you better specifications all throughout. And contrary to what you will typically hear, that these phones are shit and whatever, these are basically as good, if not better, than what we have right here. So OS right there, I use these devices and I didn't have any kind of problems for a long time anymore, which usually that is an argument that, the operating system there is crap. It's not any more crap than what we have right here. It's Android after all, and the newest one, so if it's shit on that device, it's probably going to be shit on here, as both of them are running on the same Android. They're just different skins. Battery is bigger, charging is faster, and all throughout. Processor is, I would say, better, as it's the 8 Elite Gen 5. We have more, well, we have 256 with 12 gigabytes of RAM, or half a terabyte with 16 gigabytes of RAM. So you have options for storage about the same, or just more RAM option. Higher megapixel cameras, as they're all 50 megapixels that do also 8K 30. You have Dolby Vision support for the display, which this one doesn't have, which allows you to watch content with Dolby Vision standard, which is, I would say, pretty nice considering the phone costs $600. So yeah, like I said, for the price that you get to pay, you get faster device, better in what I would consider every single way, and the only thing you get to sacrifice is the Samsung's touches on the Android, which is the One UI. Other than that, you get to improve everything else and pay $600 instead of the $11 that you get to pay for this one. To me, that's a no-brainer. I will much rather take that one over this. And additionally, you could also just look into the S25 Plus, which at this point will be massively discounted as this one came out. And these phones are roughly the same. Now, the processor in here is going to be faster than what we have in the previous generation, as this is really the only thing that Samsung offers between these generations. But it is going to be an Exynos that we have right here, compared to the Snapdragon that actually the previous one, all of them had. And like I said, the previous generation will offer roughly the same kind of everything, with just a tiny bit slower processor, but we're still talking about flagship processors all throughout, so they're probably faster than what you would ever consider needing in your device. So if you don't want to really, look at the benchmarks and be like, yeah, I got the highest numbers on benchmarks, which doesn't really give you any kind of value, then you can go for the previous generation of this device, 25 Plus, and spend much less money on it, and have roughly the same kind of device with the same kind of specifications, system, and everything like that. And like I said, if you want, you can go for that Poco F8 Ultra. That's also going to be a great alternative. That is also going to be cheaper. So anyway, with that being said, I hope you found this rant helpful, entertaining in some way, with the amount of negativity I have right here. But in any case, hit that like, maybe subscribe, and thanks for watching.